I gotta do this.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Dog Days podcast. My name is Wyatt Briggs. I'm going to be your host. We're joined by Cub Turcotte, Austin Bell, Mitchell Cantwell. Brief rundown of how this podcast is going to go. We're going to get 30 minutes to just discuss a topic. The rest of us don't know what that topic is, but one person in the group is going to present that topic to us right when we start the podcast. And I start a timer. Once the 30 minutes is over, we end that topic, end the podcast, and start next week. And today we have Cub with the topic. Cub, why don't you let us know what we're talking about today?
All right, so the world's kind of in a funk right now with all this COVID talk, and a world that I am very in tune with and kind of pay attention to is the sports world, whether it's NCAA or professional. So I just want to I want to get your guys' thoughts on. Let's just start with NCAA. This is going to be a perfect topic because we have a ball player, Division I ball player in the room also.
One guy.
So let's start with NCAA. Let's go.
Well, considering you're the guy that has the most experience in this, why don't you tell us from a player's point of view?
No, for sure. So I am 5 years in the NCAA, 4 of those as a bench warmer, if you know. But you know what? 5 years running, best teammate, so that counts for something.
That's huge.
Team guy, big time team guy.
Team all bench.
Exactly. You know what? It's the 12th man. He still gets the ring. But anyways, no, for sure. Like it is weird, man. It's like kind of like everything just came to a halt. But speaking on that, Cub, like we had just played Baylor Tuesday, and we were leaving on Thursday to drive to Houston for a weekend series. And for those of you that don't know, the way it works is you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And, we had just this was like 2 weeks ago when everything kind of started blowing up. So we're driving there on Thursday. We're about 2.5 hours in from Dallas. I played ball in Dallas. So, and then everybody's phones start blowing up, and it's like NCAA's tweeting this. Oh, this is coming out. Like a weekend series are getting canceled. The Ivy League canceled their whole season. We're just like, what, like what in the world's going on? So then halfway through the bus ride, we turn around and we just head back to Dallas. They're like, hey, weekend's canceled. They might come to Dallas, blah, blah, blah. So, and then literally like from that day, that was Thursday until Saturday, it was like everything canceled. Like the NCAA immediately was like, hey, like it went from, a couple weekend series are canceled. We'll start on Tuesday. No, okay, that's done. We got no meetings or gatherings more than 50, so just family can watch your games. And then like the next step was like, no, like we're done. Like the College World Series is canceled, everything's canceled. So it's like everything kind of blew up, and I think everybody is kind of experiencing that now, like with the quarantine. But for the NCAA student athletes and I guess pro athletes and stuff too, everything was kind of like 2 weeks in advance of like, everybody's now getting that feeling of like, dude, like life is kind of canceled right now. Like we kind of all got hit with that like 2 weeks early with the season and stuff. So it is weird. Like, and I'm a 5th year, and so, 5th year senior, there's never been such a thing as a 6th year senior. Like I'll be a freaking grandpa if I come back and play next year.
Yeah. Give me the rundown about that. Getting an extra year. So it's gonna be weird. It's got these rosters are gonna be expanded. I would honestly have to say around the nation it's gonna be 50-50 with seniors either coming back or staying on.
Isn't it? It's gonna be a little weird too, because like this is gonna be an issue for like 4 years now.
Exactly. So, and that's what I was
not gonna go away next year.
Yeah. So I think the NCAA kind of like they had to face, kind of had to pick and choose, like, because if they just give seniors a year back, since those are the kids who can't come back, then it kind of screws everybody, like all the juniors and stuff, with the draft, because how the draft works. They don't give you any money as a senior and all that stuff. And so they chose to give everybody an extra year of eligibility back. And I'm kind of indifferent to it because like they kind of have to do that, because if they didn't do that, they're going to get sued like crazy. But instead of just dealing with this for 1 year, now they're dealing with it for at least 5.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Are there going to be any positives that come out of this? Like, will college teams in general walk away from this like, oh, we could really benefit from this? I mean, obviously, larger roster sizes, some more guys to pick from. But
Yeah.
will this change any future collegiate sports?
Dude, I will say that the next year of baseball and what other spring sports, I don't know, many that people watch other than baseball,
You cut out for a second, Bill.
like
you
it's
might
going to
repeat
be
that.
extremely
You cut out for a
competitive.
second, Bill.
Yeah, so like next year in baseball, like you were saying, Mitch, with like the roster sizes and stuff, it's going to be extremely competitive, I think, because like you basically get to keep your best seniors if they were impact guys, and then what's kind of happening is like, hey, like this guy didn't really pan out like we wanted him to. Let's kind of just, teams can cut guys, yeah. So now they're just building like a super team of like, oh, we have this dope recruit coming in. So it's going to be like, I think it's going to be super competitive next year. And, it kind of gives teams who are sucking a break. And it kind of gives teams who are already good, like that are bringing in recruits to fill some holes. Like, is that, so it's just me like a super team, like a mega team.
And do you know what they're doing about scholarships?
For the next 4 years,
I know you get I know you get a certain amount of scholarships a year, right? Like, is that going to affect?
No, man. I don't think so. I don't think that they can give you more money.
So I do believe this is how they're going to do it. I think I read it somewhere. The seniors that were on scholarship who are getting money are going to continue to give that money. But the 11.2 new scholarships for the underclassmen. So they're kind of expanding scholarships, but not for the underclassmen.
Yeah, no, I know for sure that you can only the seniors can get up to what they got this year. So like if you were on a 25% scholarship, then you can maximum only get 25%. They can't give you any more, but they can give you less. So like if you were on a 25% scholarship and then they're like, like you didn't really play, we need the money, they can take it, but they can't give you more.
Dang.
So
it's kind of crazy to think like, this is really only affecting the spring for the most part. Like, I mean, winter, I guess, did they end up doing the college or the March Madness stuff? Like,
no, Friday? That's what I was going to say.
Did
that's
they cancel
like
it?
Dagger.
They did cancel it, right?
They canceled March Madness.
They did cancel March Madness. Yeah.
So like, are they gonna do anything for winter sports too, or is it just for spring sports?
It's any student athlete whose season got cut short by COVID.
Oh, so if you didn't make March Madness, then like
you still.
That's weird because it's only the teams that made March Madness. That's weird, huh?
Yeah, it's any student athlete that is considered to have something canceled, I believe. No, but actually, no. I'm sorry. It's spring sports. So I don't know what they're going to do with basketball. Yeah, I don't know what they'll do with basketball.
So that brings me to a good point. Mitch, you spent a small tenure at ACU playing football. You had a fall and a spring there. How important is spring ball for your guys' like development and stuff like that? Because that definitely got affected by COVID as well. And when we're talking football in NCAA, that is the biggest revenue builder, and they have a lot of schools. That's where they have the most say.
Absolutely, yeah. I think like all collegiate sports, the off season is seen as just as important in the coaches' minds and the players' mind. I mean, like you said, huge development period, especially for those young kids getting in their first year. Kind of just to grow and learn and get their feet wet. And so, yeah, I think this will be a huge issue. And like you mentioned, I think unarguably college football is the most watched college sport across the nation, right? And so you're seeing all these people come out and say, well, they might not even have college football, or if this thing isn't done by college football. I mean, schools, if you look at a lot of athletic department balance sheets, football is usually one of, if not the only profitable sport for a lot of big-time schools.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, those programs are bringing in millions and millions and millions of dollars at some schools. And so if you take that out, that's then going to cause a huge cash flow issue for these schools because they're already pretty much operating in the red. And so if you take out their biggest source of income, it's going to be a train wreck. So I know that a lot of the football team and coaches and players and everyone is really hoping that this thing will die down. But yeah, as far as the spring stuff goes, definitely big that they're going to have to miss out on that. Not the end of the world. I mean, it's a lot of weightlifting and play stuff that you can kind of do on your own. Definitely could have a huge effect in the fall. Thankfully, they won't have to deal with all the scholarship stuff like the spring sports and the roster stuff like those guys. But there's no doubt, I think, that there's a pretty big worry across the board for how this could affect college football.
Well, and something, I'm pretty close to having coached and stuff like that, high school guys.
Briggs, hold on. Well, Briggs coaches some like 11-year-old kids.
13.
So,
but,
yeah.
But I mean, I help coach high school guys as well. Like within the program, there are a lot of high school guys, and their season just got canceled in general. Like, there's no state, there's no nothing. And for like seniors, that's like, can you guys imagine our senior year without baseball? Like,
dude,
baseball made our senior year, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, I mean, so talk to me, Briggs. When you were coaching these guys, I mean, how many of them were unsigned, uncommitted? They were kind of, last effort this summer coming up, trying to get signed.
I mean, there's definitely a fair amount of them. I'm trying to think of a guy off the top of my head. I can't, but like they're hoping that stuff's cleared up by summer and they get to do the summer showcases and stuff like that. Hopefully they can, kind of get seen that way, which, kind of the same way I got seen summer before senior year, which, it's a lot of pressure on these guys because they have no season anymore. They got to work a whole 100% off season. And there's no state tournament to like really, shine. Cause like, a lot of guys get looked at during season, but like, I would say the majority of scouts probably go to state tournaments and stuff like that. They go to the big events to see kind of those people that show up for those events. So,
yeah, I remember back in 2014, man, when we were in that state championship game. I remember seeing a lot of scouts there, and that was a big platform for all.
Yeah, dude. Well, they all came to watch Briggs throw the freaking heater, dude.
Freaking 92 down the top, baby.
Didn't even get on the bump. Just
That's
kidding.
tough.
That's just kidding.
Respect.
But it's people show up to the big time games to see the big time players kind of thing. And a lot of those guys aren't going to get that opportunity to get looked at. And it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, it kind of is going to affect college in an essence too, because, they've signed a bunch of guys already. Most of the time, what college you're going to go to by the time you're 17 anyways. You kind of are signed or committed or whatever. But like those late guys that get signed or whatever are just going to have to end up walking on, it sounds like. There's plans for summer tournaments. Like I know New Mexico, Ryan Brewer's hosting a tournament in New Mexico for all the high school teams that sign up as like a replacement state tournament kind of thing. But besides that, there's really like not a lot of tournaments are getting like scheduled because there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
I think I think it's crazy though. Like I was saying, like everybody who is in like college sports especially kind of got hit with like the whole like cancellation stuff like 2 weeks ahead of time. But now it's like everybody's like everything is canceled, So I think it's like it's weird to go from we were only like 16 games in and we had like a 54 game regular season. But now it's like I'm trying to figure out stuff to do at home, which everybody's trying to do. So it's weird to go from like we had those 2 weeks where it was like every life was still pretty normal other than sports, and that was like a weird time. But now it's just everybody, like everything is canceled, and like I think everything's trying to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So let's make a transition to professional sports. It's kind of wild what's going on right now. MLB got together today, and they're thinking about operating only in Phoenix. No fans in the crowd.
Like the spring training areas or what?
They're going to
Yeah.
use All 30 MLB teams are going to go to Phoenix, and they're going to play in the spring training facilities
Wow.
and Chase Field.
Wow.
Dude, that's sick. It's kind of like a round robin tournament, but
Yeah. So
but you got to
Well,
think like
didn't they-
they're
weren't
trying
they
to make
also-
money, dude.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's a big, and they're gonna. I think they're gonna move to more of a revenue share kind of deal.
Yeah, well, and that's the reason they're doing that. Like the only reason they're trying to push playing as hard as possible is because they need to make some money.
Well, I mean that's every professional sports league.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. It's not, it's not because they all want to
Yeah.
play baseball. It's just because they make some cash,
Yeah, definitely.
What about
Well, and-
like? I think it's crazy to see like how much I think we didn't realize we like depended on sports and how much we like loved it. Like obviously we've all grown up playing sports together, and like a lot of people have, but like when sports are stripped away from the world, like people don't know what to go to. Like the Masters gets taken away, people are devastated. March Madness is like one of the most watched sporting events of the year, and so it's
Also,
been
Wimbledon.
yeah.
Wimbledon got canceled for the first time since like World War I or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like people really realize, like sports brings people together, I think, in ways that a lot of people don't realize. You kind of just take it for granted, right? You flip on the TV and then you talk about it with your friends, or you get together with your friends and watch stuff. But it's been like, dang, without sports, like so many people have nothing to turn to. And like, so I think it's
Yeah.
really cool too, and will make us appreciate it going forward, like how much sports means to our world. And just even from a fan standpoint, and even like if you remove yourself as a player, like what it means to just watch and cheer on a team and be excited and like have something to follow, like, and the absence of that really makes you like, dang, like what do I follow now? Like what do I get interested in now? It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't want to say it's cool that it's gone, but it's cool that like people are realizing how important sports are.
dude.
Right.
Honestly, I can't I hate watching sports. I don't know
Really?
why. I think maybe it's like once you get done with practice and stuff, it's like, it's like, hey, you want to watch some baseball? And it's like, absolutely not.
Right.
I would rather like hit my hand with a hammer 50 times.
Now let me share an experience with you. So when I got done playing baseball, I was the same exact way. I didn't really want to watch any ball game, which is weird because I during high school, when I was still playing ball, it was kind of more like the latter end of my career. When I didn't want to go home flip on a ball game. But about 6 months after that, when I started, getting an income, started making money, I got turned on to sports gambling and games and stuff like that. And it made every game so interesting, which is another thing. Like, so sports gambling in the past couple of years has been rising in America. It's states are legalizing it, stuff like that. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and now without any sports, where are these these sports books? How are they making money?
Nail racing.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. There's like soccer games in like India that people are betting on. All the degenerates,
Are you, hey, in your gambling career, are you net positive or net negative?
I'm red, my good friend.
Hey, what about at the old Isleta Casino or Sandia Casino? How's the poker going?
Haven't been in a minute, but if I'm Hold'em, I'm green and Hold'em for sure.
What about craps? What about
Green and
craps?
Hold'em?
You roll those dice.
No.
dude.
I'm a bit red in the craps area.
For those
Oh.
listening, you don't know that one of our podcast hosts, Mr. Bell Muffin down there, is an absolute craps. Loves playing, and he's good, and it's like our fun thing to do together. So
Oh, it's a good time rolling the dice out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was I won the first time I played craps in a casino. I won $2,600. I walked in with $100.
and he donated it all to charity because he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Such a good guy.
You know what, guys? The thing is your church, your local church needs money. All right.
See a draw, send a draw.
Yeah, you save a little, and then what you don't send to church, you buy a 20-gauge shotgun with.
Exactly.
Because I need it. I need it for home defense.
The duck commander over here.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's crazy because that same exact summer, I won $2,600 that first day, and then I went again one more time, and I won another $1,000, and I was just like, I'm done. Like I'm never doing this again. But those dice call you.
Oh, they call
That's
you.
called me.
Yeah, Cub
They
knows.
call you. I've had dice fever before. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you're sweating it
It's
out.
not fun.
You get dice fever, and then when you don't have the dice fever, you get the duck fever because you want to be out in the blind. But and then
All
the
right.
dice, yeah, it just feeds into it, man.
Yes, yeah. All right. So, Briggs, you got any final thoughts as we wrap up?
I just kind of wanted to talk about the sports thing a little more because I had a professor whose kid was a pitcher down here at Las Cruces High School, and had kind of given him a couple lessons and stuff like that, and was kind of he was in that class as well, taking it as like a elective class for college and stuff like that, and it's crazy how like literally they were having the season, at least down here in Cruces, they had their season, and then it was just gone. They just stopped it. And I'm sure you experienced the same thing, Bill, kind of in what you were explaining, where they're bouncing back and forth. You know, they weren't sure what they were going to do, kind of thing, and then just all of a sudden, just bang.
Yeah, dude.
And
I think the worst part of it was like we all knew because the tweets were just rolling out of like this is canceled, and it's like you get to the point where it's like, okay, they canceled the College World Series, but they haven't canceled our season yet. What's the point of playing?
Right.
But to my point, the worst part of it was they took us to a Brazilian steakhouse, which is just incredible here, and it was just like it was awesome because you get to hang out with everybody and you get to go to a Brazilian steakhouse. Like very lucky to be able to go there. But you just knew they were just buttering you up to just be like, hey, the season's over. And you're just like gorging your face with all these meats. You got the meat sweats. And everybody's just like, this is the last team meal that we'll have. You know, for me, like a fifth year, it's like this is the last team meal I could possibly ever have. And I'm just sweating like crazy because I just ate 5 pounds of red meat. And everyone knows it's about to happen.
Just sweating breath.
Dude, I ate
You're
like
talking about one of those joints that shaves off the.
yeah, dude. I have
Yeah.
like
like
I have
Tucanos.
yeah, it's exactly like
okay.
Tucanos. It's called Texas State Brazil, dude. I have like a hockey puck that's red and green. First of all, they need to darken those things for people who are colorblind because I had no clue what color was what. And so, anyways, I figured out which side's
Just
what,
flipping
and I'm green like the whole way. We're like 2 hours in, and they're just shaving off red meat after red meat. And also, dude, they also had the gluten-free bread, which I can't have gluten anymore recently, which sucks. But I ate so much of that, and then I ate the part was I ate so much red meat that you just get to the point where your body is sweating, and it's just disgusting. But then like when you're there, you're like, dude, this is at least $150 meal. Like I'm not turning this puck over to red.
Let me tell
It's
you.
not stopping at any point.
Exactly.
Meat sweats, been there, done that, my friend.
Hey, I'm gonna pull up the old. Do you remember the Cub Sweat Given Challenge or whatever at
B-dubs?
yeah, B-dubs.
If you send it in the group message, I can screen record it.
Oh, I'm pulling it up right here.
Yeah.
Send it in the group message. And
Long
I can
story
send
short,
All I want to do is eat some Asian zing.
yeah, Cub.
Ice over here.
So we bet Cub that he wouldn't eat. What was it? It wasn't the blazing, but it was like the hots.
It was up there.
And it was like 20 wings. And I'll show you all this picture of his face as soon as I find it. But
okay,
you
it's a
can,
picture,
like,
not a.
the sheer look of just regret, dude. Look at this. That's just talk about giving in, man.
Those lips.
What you can't see is all of the you can see right there kind of some of the napkins. I've never seen a human being use more napkins. Look at that, how red his face is. Like meat sweats as hard as they come, sweating absolute bullets.
Just grease popping out of your forehead.
Yeah, like everyone knows that before Jesus was crucified, he sweat blood, and Cub was sweating pure hot sauce out of Buffalo Wild Wings. Just straight fry oil.
Fry, yeah.
That's great.
Man. Yeah. But
All right,
All right, I have a question to close us all out before we get off.
Yeah.
What is going to be the first thing y'all do when all this madness is over and the world is back open?
Go to Texas Roadhouse.
Ask for your job back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you better get us some cinnamon butter, by the way.
Anybody
I
else?
don't know, man. What about you, Mitch? What are you doing?
Dude, I don't know, going out somewhere in public and just hugging every person I see in the world. Just, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
That's
The kid needs a
My
hug.
name's
The
Mitch.
kid just
How you
needs a
doing?
hug.
Mitch needs a hug.
Throw a little wink in there.
Just
He's
do the
not
hug.
single anymore. Sorry, guys.
Ooh, Mitch has got a girlfriend, huh?
Yeah.
And he
Lady
broke.
friend.
Bert gonna do? That's the real question is Bert.
Bet on some league.
I'm going on Albuquerque's biggest bar crawl, brewery crawl.
Yeah, I'll join you. I'll drive up and join you.
You're already doing that from inside your
Air
walls.
crawl for breweries?
It's different when you're going from growler to growler. I'm talking about place to place, you know?
That's respect. I'm gonna respect that.
Hey, I'll drive up and join you.
Yeah.
All right.
Get a pint at each place.
Well, guys, first podcast ended 5 minutes early. Look at us.
Yeah.
Word.
Well,
Great.
some good topics today. Better.
Yeah.
We're gonna see who's got the next topic next week.
Yeah, who wants it next week?
I don't know. I think we just random as possible is the best way to go. Bert, great topic. Very near and dear.
Yeah, just pull names out of a hat next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or all right, boys.